How tall could it be?
It's vast. It's the tallest, hugest, largest mammoth wooden roller.
It's the highest wooden roller coaster in the world.
How tall could it be?
Cedar Point, and the wildest ride that's ever come to town is facing you down. Steel Vengeance. We have what it takes to saddle up and plunge down its unforgiving 90-degree drop, to stomach the most gravity-defying coaster on Earth, to rip through nearly 6,000 feet of wood and steel as you ricochet left and right.
There are legends that take root in the dust of the past, stories whispered in the wind and scrawled across time. And then there's Steel Vengeance, a story of redemption, reinvention, and a mad quest to turn a battered wooden relic into one of the greatest thrill rides the world has ever seen. To understand the legend, we have to go back, way back.
It was 1991. Cedar Point, always eager to break records and stretch the limits of human fear, unveiled Mean Streak, a 161-foot behemoth that towered over Frontier Town like a grizzled old gunslinger. It was a beautiful sight, a monument to ambition and timber. But there was a problem. It was rough.
At first, riders came in droves, eager to challenge the park's biggest wooden coaster. But as the years rolled on, Mean Streak gained a reputation, not for its thrills, but for its brutal, bone-rattling ride experience.
The same park that had built thrill machines like Millennium Force and Top Thrill Dragster had, in this case, saddled itself with a wooden beast that just wasn't fun anymore. As Mean Streak's ridership plummeted, rumors spread like wildfire. What would Cedar Point do with it? Would they tear it down? Retrack it? Would a miracle save it?
What started as a rough, fading wooden giant became one of the most celebrated thrill rides in history. It shattered records, redefined hybrid coasters, and cemented RMC's status as industry trailblazers. Cedar Point took a failing ride and transformed it into a masterpiece, proving that legends can be reborn.
Welcome back to Ghoster Coasters, and today we're taking a trip down Cedar Point memory lane with the transformation of Mean Streak. Be sure to hit that subscribe button and join the Ghoster Coasting community today. A huge shout out goes out to all of our channel members for supporting the channel. We can't wait for the upcoming season, and we're looking forward to more rides on this coaster we're talking about today. Keep arms down, head back in. Wrong ride, guys. Sorry. We're going back to the Wild Wild West in this showdown.
Mean Streak was a massive wooden roller coaster at Cedar Point Amusement Park in Sandusky, Ohio, known for its mulling ride and intimidating wooden structure. Built by Ding Corporation and designed by Curtis D. Summers, opening on May 11, 1991, Mean Streak was a monumental addition to Cedar Point's lineup. As its debut, it was celebrated as the world's tallest wooden roller coaster, standing at an impressive 161 feet. The construction demanded approximately 1.7 million board feet of treated southern yellow pine, underscoring the massive scale of the project.
Upon its launch, Mean Streak set new benchmarks for wooden roller coasters with a height of 161 feet, speed of 65 miles per hour, and a length of 5,427 feet. While not quite as long as the Beast, it was Cedar Point's long wooden roller coaster. These impressive statistics, however, were soon surpassed in 1992 by the Rattler at Fiesta, Texas, which claimed the title for the tallest wooden coaster, highlighting the rapid pace of innovation within the industry. Despite its opening fun, Mean Streak's reputation evolved as riders began to report a rough and uncomfortable experience. The wooden structure, subject to natural wear and tear and environmental factors, led to a ride that many found jarring. In response, Cedar Point undertook multiple retracking efforts to enhance the smoothness and install the trim brake on the first drop in 1994 to reduce the speed and mitigate track wear. These modifications aimed to preserve the ride's appeal but also altered its original intensity, leading to mixed reactions from enthusiasts.
When Mean Streak debuted at Cedar Point in 1991, it was a landmark attraction, boasting record-breaking height and speed for a wooden coaster. However, its reputation changed over the years, leading to dwindling ridership and eventual transformation into Steel Vengeance. Understanding Mean Streak's decline requires a deep dive into the ridership trends throughout the 1990s and 2000s, the struggles of the Ding Corporation's wooden coasters, and Cedar Point's attempts to maintain the ride, including assembling a dedicated carpentry team.
In the early 1990s, Mean Streak was a highly anticipated ride, drawing large crowds due to its record-setting height of 161 feet and its length. Initially, it was considered a must-ride attraction for Cedar Point visitors, standing as the park's most thrilling wooden coaster. However, the ride experience did not live up to its imposing structure.
By the mid to late 1990s, Mean Streak began earning a reputation for its rough and uncomfortable ride, which significantly impacted its popularity. While wooden coasters naturally require maintenance due to track warping and wood expansion, Mean Streak seemed to deteriorate faster than expected. Enthusiasts began favoring smoother wooden coasters designed by other manufacturers, and as new steel coasters emerged, Mean Streak struggled to maintain its status as a premier attraction.
By the early 2000s, ridership numbers continued to decline. Guests often skipped Mean Streak in favor of newer thrill rides like Millennium Force and Top Thrill Dragster, which offered smoother and more intense experiences. Even among wooden coaster enthusiasts, Mean Streak was increasingly seen as an outdated and uncomfortable ride, especially as new wooden coaster designs began to surpass it.
Mean Streak was one of several coasters built by the Ding Corporation, a company responsible for constructing multiple large wooden coasters in the late 1980s and early 1990s. However, Ding's designs quickly became notorious for their rapid deterioration and rough ride quality. Unlike traditional wooden coaster manufacturers that prioritize long-term durability, many Ding coasters suffered from track misalignment and excessive structural stress over time.
The Ding Corporation had a long history, with many of its coasters experiencing severe roughness issues within just a few years of operation. Other parks that installed Ding coasters faced similar problems, with rides like Cyclone at Six Flags Magic Mountain and the Rattler at Fiesta Texas developing poor reputations for their discomfort. By the mid-1990s, the company had ceased operations, leaving Cedar Point with the challenge of maintaining Mean Streak without direct manufacturer support.
But other companies like Custom Coasters International, also known as CCI, and later Gravity Group and Great Coasters International, also known as GCI, were designing smoother wooden coasters. The new generation of wooden coasters in the late 1990s and early 2000s, such as Shivering Timbers at Michigan's Adventure and Thunderhead at Dollywood, were praised for their airtime and fluid transitions, making Mean Streak seem increasingly outdated.
Recognizing the ongoing issues with Mean Streak, Cedar Point took extraordinary measures to keep the coaster operational. Unlike most wooden coasters, which undergo periodic retracking and maintenance from third-party contractors, Cedar Point hired an entire team of full-time carpenters dedicated exclusively to maintaining Mean Streak. This team of skilled workers was responsible for continuously retracking sections of the ride, replacing warped or deteriorated wooden planks, and reinforcing structural integrity. Despite these efforts, Mean Streak's ride experience never improved significantly.
The sheer length of the ride, 5,427 feet, made retracking an expensive and time-consuming process, and given the coaster's high-speed forces, wear and tear occurred rapidly. Even with dedicated maintenance, Mean Streak never regained its former status. The addition of trim brakes in 1994 was intended to reduce stress on the track and increase longevity, but this modification further diminished the ride's intensity, making it less appealing to thrill seekers.
By the late 2000s and early 2010s, Mean Streak had become one of the least popular major coasters at Cedar Point. While it still had its loyal fans, ridership numbers paled in comparison to newer attractions. Many guests considered it a one-and-done ride, avoiding repeat experiences due to its jarring nature. Despite Cedar Point's best efforts to maintain it, the writing was on the wall.
Then we saw the rise of Rocky Mountain construction, and how they revolutionized the industry by converting aging wooden coasters into hybrid steel masterpieces, starting with the Texas Giant in 2011. Many enthusiasts speculated that Mean Streak was a prime candidate for a similar transformation.
Rocky Mountain Construction was founded in the early 2000s by Fred Grubb, but it wasn't until 2011 that the company revolutionized the amusement park industry with its first major projects, one of them being the transformation of Texas Giant at Six Flags Over Texas. The original Texas Giant was a wooden coaster that opened in 1990. Much like Mean Streak, it was a record-breaking ride that quickly developed a reputation for roughness. By the mid-2000s, ridership had plummeted, and Six Flags faced a difficult decision: either continue investing in costly maintenance or retire the ride altogether.
Instead, they took a risk by working with RMC to rebuild the coaster as a hybrid, replacing the wooden track with RMC's innovative steel iBox track system. When the new Texas Giant opened, it was a completely different ride, smoother, faster, and featuring extreme airtime and overbanked turns never before seen on a wooden coaster structure. This project changed the amusement industry forever, proving that aging wooden coasters could be reborn into top-tier thrill rides. After the success of New Texas Giant, parks around the world took notice. RMC quickly became the go-to company for parks looking to revitalize their outdated or problematic wooden coasters.
By 2016, RMC had transformed several other rides, including Iron Rattler at Six Flags Fiesta, Texas, Outlaw Run at Silver Dollar City, Wicked Cyclone at Six Flags New England. Now, the pattern was clear. RMC was changing the game, and Cedar Point had a prime candidate for their next transformation. Before RMC's involvement became apparent, there was speculation that Cedar Point might opt for a GCI retracking of Mean Streak instead of a full-scale hybrid conversion. GCI had made a name for itself by designing modern wooden coasters that prioritize smoothness, aggressive banking, and rapid directional changes. Unlike the Din Corporation's rough designs, GCI's coasters featured a more fluid ride experience, which many believed could have improved Mean Streak's performance.
A GCI retracking could have involved replacing sections of Mean Streak's track with GCI's Millennium Flyer wooden coaster track system, which allows for tighter turns and smoother rides. Modifying the ride's layout by incorporating new banking angles, making it more re-rideable.
Adding new trains such as GCI's Millennium Flyers, which navigate wooden coaster layouts much more gracefully than the PTC trains did that Mean Streak used to use. However, while this approach may have improved Mean Streak's ride quality, it would not have addressed the coaster's fundamental design flaws. At over 5,400 feet long, retracking Mean Streak entirely would have been an expensive, temporary fix rather than a long-term solution. Enter RMC.
By the mid-2010s, it was no secret that Mean Streak was one of Cedar Point's least popular coasters. Enthusiasts and parkgoers alike speculated about its future, with many predicting its removal or replacement. Then, in 2016, rumors began circulating that Cedar Point had partnered with RMC for a major transformation. The speculation grew as enthusiasts noticed small but telling signs of change. Survey markings appeared around Mean Streak's structure, suggesting that engineers were evaluating its supports for modifications. RMC's signature track pieces were spotted at their Idaho facility, sparking theories that a hybrid conversion was already underway. Coaster fans dissected every word from Cedar Point officials, searching for hints that Mean Streak was about to undergo a radical change.
The rumors gained even more traction when Cedar Point announced Mean Streak's closure on August 1, 2016. While the park did not immediately confirm an RMC conversion, the timing was suspicious, as RMC had just completed major transformations for other parks. On September 16, 2016, Mean Streak took its final rides, and Cedar Point remained tight-lipped about its future. However, industry insiders and coaster fans were already convinced that RMC was involved, and their suspicions were confirmed when track modifications began appearing on the ride structure in early 2017.
Following Mean Streak's closure, Cedar Point remained tight-lipped about what was coming. However, construction updates showed the unmistakable signs of an RMC conversion. Support beams being modified, new track sections appearing, and ride elements never seen before on Mean Streak. Throughout 2017, Cedar Point slowly built anticipation through social media teases and cryptic hints. Drone footage revealed towering new elements, including a massive outward bank turn and a taller lift hill, fueling excitement. Fans speculated wildly about the ride's name, possible elements, and record-breaking stats.
Then, on August 16, 2017, Cedar Point officially unveiled Steel Vengeance, branding it as the world's first hyper-hybrid coaster, thanks to its towering 205-foot height. The ride's stats were staggering. It was 205 feet tall with a drop of 200 feet at a 90-degree angle, with 5,740 feet, which was the longest hybrid coaster in the world, and a speed of 74 miles per hour with 4 inversions and 27 moments of airtime, the most on any roller coaster in the world.
The ride was themed to a Wild West rivalry, fitting in perfectly with Cedar Point's frontier town area. The backstory revolved around Maverick, an outlaw who had been wronged, and Steel Vengeance, a reckoning that would rise in his place. This was a clever nod to the nearby Maverick coaster and the ride's transformation from Mean Streak to something completely new.
Once a sleepy whistle stop, founded when the Iron Horse made its way westward. Frontier Town, with its natural resources and raw beauty, captivated many a traveler. Soon a boarding house, saloon, and restaurant established the beginnings of the town, followed by grist mills, blacksmiths, and assorted craftsmen. Then along came a silver-tongued stranger named Maverick, who settled in, purchased land, and established a mining company that brought prosperity to the town and a fortune for himself. With power came influence and a disregard for anyone or anything unsuitable, outdated, or outspoken. It took a trio of outcasts to forge together, once sent away from the place they called home, to right the wrong that had befallen the beloved frontier town under Maverick's reign. Wyatt Digger Dempsey, a reclusive inventor, ready to reclaim his mining company. Chess Wild One Watkins, a fierce and fiery cowgirl, never to be wrangled, and always resisting the status quo. And their leader, Jackson Blackjack Chamberlain, tall, commanding, and the master of the old deck of cards. They've returned with a menacing and twisted machine so big and brazen, the likes of it had never been seen. The tallest of its kind, the fastest speeds, the wildest maneuvers ever attempted. Upside down, inside out, sideways, slantways, over and over and over. They're back, and they're here with a steel vengeance. Frontier Town, Cedar Point, 2018.
After months of anticipation, Steel Vengeance officially opened to the public on May 5th, 2018. Opening day was a massive event, with guests lining up hours in advance to be among the first riders. The reaction was immediate. Steel Vengeance was an instant classic, with coaster enthusiasts calling it one of the greatest roller coasters ever built. The ride delivered on all of its promises: extreme airtime with relentless ejector moments throughout the layout, inversions that flowed seamlessly through the natural wood structure, unexpected elements like the outer banked wave turn and high to low speed maneuvers on the ground, and a long ride duration, keeping riders engaged from start to finish.
It was so intense, in fact, that Cedar Point had to restrict loose articles, banning phones in line and requiring all items to be placed in lockers to prevent items from flying out mid-ride. Steel Vengeance quickly racked up awards, including the Golden Ticket Award for Best Ride in 2018, consistently ranked among top 3 roller coasters in the world, and the most airtime on any coaster in history.
It also helped solidify RMC's dominance in the coaster industry. Parks around the world began working with the company for their own hybrid transformations, leading to rides like Twisted Timbers at King's Dominion and Iron Gwazi at Busch Gardens Tampa. And so, the legend of Steel Vengeance was born. The transformation from Mean Streak to Steel Vengeance wasn't just about a coaster. It was about rewriting history. Cedar Point took a worn-out wooden giant and reimagined it as something entirely new.
A perfect blend of steel and wood, combining the best of both worlds to create a ride that would leave a mark on thrill seekers forever. What was once a rough, unforgiving beast was reborn as a fierce, exhilarating force that pushed the limits of speed, height, and heart-stopping drops. Now, Steel Vengeance stands as a testament to what can happen when history meets reinvention. A ride that honors the past, but dares to break free from it, setting a new standard for what a coaster can be. It's not just about the thrills, it's about the story, the journey, and the legacy left behind as a new legacy was cemented.
Steel Vengeance fans, what do we think? Best ride in the world still? Let us know down below, and which part of the history did you find the most fascinating? Be sure to comment down below, like the video as it greatly helps the channel, and of course, smash that subscribe button today.
As always, thank you for being a part of our spooky community
And for Coaster Ghostin' with Ghoster Coasters.